the one sentence that shapes your entire day, guided by the quiet guide. Before the day asks anything of you, before messages arrive and responsibilities begin pulling at your attention, there is a quiet moment most people rush past without noticing. It is the moment where nothing has happened yet, but the tone of the day is already forming. Not because of events, but because of what you are carrying into the morning. Unfinished thoughts from yesterday, pressure waiting ahead, and the subtle feeling that you should already be more awake, more prepared, or more certain than you feel right now. Many mornings begin with an unspoken question. Am I actually equipped for today? Do I have what it takes to handle what is coming? Not perfectly and not effortlessly, just well enough to begin without panic. If you have ever woken up already feeling behind, already bracing yourself, this is not a personal failure. It is a human response to transition, responsibility, and expectation arriving before the body and mind have fully settled. And this is where today begins. Because before the world reaches you, there is one quiet reminder that changes how the entire day unfolds. It does not create excitement or force motivation. Instead, it restores something far more useful, a sense of steady capability. Today, we are going to explore one simple sentence. Not as a slogan, not as something to convince yourself of, but as a grounding truth that helps you meet the day with calm strength and practical confidence. You do not need to change anything yet. Just stay here for a moment and let the day begin from a stronger place. Why mornings drain? Confidence. Mornings often feel heavier than they should, and many people quietly interpret that weight as a sign that something is wrong with them. They wake up slower than expected. Their thoughts feel scattered. Motivation has not arrived yet. And almost immediately, a conclusion forms that they are already behind, already unprepared, already starting at a disadvantage. But the truth is far simpler and far less personal. The brain does not wake up ready for performance. It transitions. During sleep, the mind is recovering, processing emotion, and sorting information. When you wake, you are crossing from rest into responsibility, and that transition creates a temporary vulnerability. Attention is softer, emotional signals are louder, confidence has not stabilized yet. This is why small things feel heavier in the morning, why pressure feels closer, and why self-doubt appears before there is any real evidence to justify it. It is not that you are incapable, it is that your system has not fully come online yet. The problem begins when this moment is misread. Low energy becomes low confidence. Mental quiet is mistaken for unpreparedness, and the absence of motivation is treated as a lack of ability. This is how many people begin the day questioning themselves, not because they lack capacity, but because they expect certainty before movement, even though certainty rarely arrives first. What having what you need really means. When we talk about having what you need, it is easy to misunderstand what that actually implies. It does not mean you feel confident. It does not mean you feel energized. And it certainly does not mean you have clarity on everything ahead of you. Having what you need means something far more practical and far more realistic. It means you have enough judgment to take the next step, enough resilience to respond when something goes wrong, and enough awareness to adjust instead of panic. Most days do not require brilliance or perfect execution, they require handling. Handling is not about controlling outcomes. It is about meeting what arises with steadiness instead of urgency. Many people wait to feel ready before they act, but readiness is not a feeling. It is a capacity that reveals itself through movement. Confidence often follows action, not the other way around. When you begin the day believing you are missing something essential, more motivation, more certainty, more energy, you hand your agency to the day itself. You become reactive. You start chasing reassurance instead of making decisions. But when you begin with the understanding that you already possess enough to handle what comes next, something shifts. You stop demanding perfection from yourself, stop rushing to prove competence, and begin responding instead of bracing. This is not optimism. It is accuracy. You have handled difficult days before, not because you felt ready, but because you discovered capacity while moving through them. That capacity did not disappear overnight. It is still here. Section 3. The sentence that reorients the day. This is where the idea becomes language. Not dramatic language, and not motivational language, just words that steady the mind enough to move forward without panic. The sentence is simple. I have what I need to handle today well. Notice what happens when you hear it. It does not ask you to feel confident. It does not demand energy, and it does not promise that the day will be easy. Instead, it reminds you that you are not empty, and that whatever today brings, a difficult conversation, an unexpected delay, a heavy workload, you are not meeting it from nothing. You are meeting it with experience, judgment shaped by past decisions, and resilience built quietly over time. This sentence works because it removes a damaging assumption many people carry into the morning, that capability must be preceded by a certain feeling. It does not. You do not need to feel ready to be capable. You do not need clarity on everything to handle something. You only need to be present enough to take the next step. Spoken gently, this sentence gives the mind permission to stop scanning for what is missing and start recognizing what is already present. Not perfection, not certainty, just enough. And enough is more powerful than it sounds. Section 4. Why this sentence works. From a psychological perspective, reassurance is not weakness, it is regulation. When the brain senses threat, uncertainty, pressure, the feeling of being behind, it shifts into a faster, more reactive mode. Attention narrows, emotions sharpen, and decision-making becomes hurried. This is not a flaw, it is survival wiring. But that same wiring, when left unchecked, creates urgency where clarity is needed. By reminding yourself that you already have what you need, you reduce the sense of threat. The nervous system begins to settle, attention widens, and judgment becomes available again. In simple terms, reassurance creates space, and in that space, better decisions become possible. This is why people often perform better when they feel supported, even when nothing else has changed. Reduced pressure improves focus, and improved focus leads to more deliberate action. The sentence does not remove responsibility. It removes panic, and panic is rarely useful. When you believe you are underprepared, you rush. When you believe you are capable, you pace yourself. That difference alone changes how you speak, how you listen, how you prioritize, and how you recover when something goes wrong. Instead of reacting to the day, you begin handling it, quietly, competently, and one step at a time. Section 5. How this changes the day in practice. This sentence matters most when the day does not go as planned, because most days do not fall apart all at once. They unravel in small moments. An email arrives early in the morning, shorter than usual, with a tone you cannot quite read. A meeting runs longer than expected and pushes everything else back. Someone interrupts your focus just as you were settling into meaningful work. Without awareness, these moments stack. Tension rises. Urgency takes over. You start moving faster, not smarter. Returning to the sentence interrupts that pattern. I have what I need to handle today well. It reminds you that the moment does not require panic, it requires judgment. You pause long enough to choose your response. You decide what actually needs attention now and what can wait. You stop trying to fix everything at once. At work, this might mean prioritizing one meaningful task instead of scattering energy across 10. In conversation, it might mean listening fully instead of preparing your defense. In moments of disruption, it might mean accepting the interruption without letting it define the rest of the day. Handling the day well does not look dramatic, it looks measured, and measured momentum lasts longer. Section 6. When the sentence feels hard to believe. There will be mornings when this sentence feels distant, days when you are tired before you begin, when emotions are already loud, and when the problems feel larger than your capacity. This does not mean the sentence has failed. It means the day is asking more of you. Belief is not required here. Willingness is. You do not have to feel capable to repeat the sentence. You only have to remain open to the possibility that you are not as unprepared as the moment suggests. Discomfort is often confused with inability, but discomfort is simply the signal of effort, not a measure of competence. If faith is part of your life, this moment can be framed as trust rather than certainty. Trust that strength often appears during movement, not before it. And if faith is not part of your language, the principle still holds. Capacity is revealed through engagement, not avoidance. On difficult days, the sentence may feel quieter. That is when it is most needed. The quiet compound effect. When you repeat this sentence day after day, something subtle begins to change. Urgency no longer controls your pace. You still work hard, still care deeply, and still aim high, but you stop rushing to prove yourself at every moment. Decisions become cleaner. Energy is spent more intentionally, and recovery comes faster when things go wrong. This is the quiet compound effect. Handling today well builds trust in yourself, and self-trust reduces the need to panic tomorrow. Over time, calm competence becomes a competitive advantage, not a liability. You stop waiting to feel ready, and you move forward anyway, thoughtfully, deliberately, and with steadiness. Closing reflection. Before the day fully takes shape, return to the beginning. Not the beginning of the schedule, but the beginning of your posture toward the day. You do not need certainty. You do not need confidence. And you do not need everything mapped out. You are not empty. You are not behind. And you are not unprepared. You have what you need to handle today well. If this helped you slow things down, even slightly, you are welcome here. You do not need to fix your life today, and you do not need to decide what comes next. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause, breathe, and let clarity arrive in its own time. If someone you care about could use a moment like this, feel free to share it with them, not to fix them, just to offer a little calm. And if this resonated with you, you can drop a like or a quiet thumbs up in the comments. It helps this space grow and reach people who might need it too. If you would like more moments like this, calm, reflective, and steady, you are welcome to subscribe and return whenever it feels right. This is Quiet Grind Daily, where self-improvers reset. Calm mind, consistent action, guided by the quiet guide. Come back when the world feels loud, or stay for more, in the next quiet moment we share.